Hi, I'm Femi OK, and you're in the stream. It's been called the greatest sporting upset of all time. Leicester City, top of the English Premier League. Am I dreaming? Should I be pinching myself? I don't even think their fans could believe it. And online, goodness me, shock, amazement, happiness, tears. What else, Malika Bilal?
All very good
emotions.
Words. All great words. They all are accurate, Femi. Now, on the night that Leicester City won the Premier League last week, Twitter reported an 86% increase in normal Twitter activity on their site in the UK. Now, globally, there were more than 5.5 million tweets related to the team's victory. And one of the most shared posts online came from the club's official Twitter account. It passed 400,000 retweets in just a matter of days. Now, the Twitter team reworked that image to show the messages of congratulations tweeted from fans. And of course, the players themselves didn't shy away from the limelight, sharing videos of themselves partying at striker Jamie Vardy's house the moment they knew the title was theirs. Well, the conversation has continued throughout the week, and we want to know what you have to say. So join the conversation with hashtag AJStream.
So you've seen the players celebrate, but take a look at these fans while Al Jazeera's Lee Wellings was trying to report from outside of Leicester City Stadium last week.
Yes, I've quite simply never seen anything like this. The world, sports fans across the globe have never seen anything like this. It seems now, an hour or two after they've clinched the title, that the entire city of Leicester, including this maybe should be in bed, have come to the stadium and they've come to say we've done it. We are the champions. You can see the excitement. I am still here. I hope you can still hear me somehow. But this excitement cannot be canned.
Lee Wellings has never been that popular in his entire life. Now, if you're not a sport fan, you might be wondering why Leicester City's victory is such a big deal. Well, the team started the season with 5,000 to 1 odds to win the title. So that means that the bookmakers thought it was more likely that the Queen of England would have a #1 song at Christmas time, or that Elvis Presley is still alive. So Leicester City has spent more than half of its 132-year history below the top tier of English football. And many experts predicted that they would be sent back down to the second division. Their victory is especially impressive given English football's recent history, in which small clubs like Leicester have struggled to compete for top players with the richest clubs who have dominated the Premier League. In the past 2 years, Manchester United has spent more money on new players than Leicester City has spent since it was established in 1884. So, with its ragtag group of journeymen, cuss-offs, hidden gems, Leicester City has defied all odds to take the football world by storm. So, what does this improbable win mean for the city of Leicester? So to help us talk about this, we have Di Stratham. She's a lifelong fan of Leicester City. She's the treasurer of the Foxes Trust, which in 2002 raised money for the club to stop it from going bankrupt. Riaz Khan has been a Leicester City fan since 1983. Rob Tanner is a football writer for the Leicester Mercury, and he's covered the team for the past 7 years. And Warren Houghton is a former Leicester City player and a sports radio broadcaster. Warren, are you jealous?
Absolutely, but
yeah.
I will try and claim some of Leicester's glory. My wife is from Leicester.
Right.
Half of my family's from Leicester, and the feeling I'm getting about all this is that when I left the club all those years ago, I think I played a part where the point is that they said to themselves, this is where the mediocrity ends, right here. From this moment on, we will move forward as a club and we will improve. So that's the way I'm claiming this Premier League title, and I've played some parts in it. Thank you very much.
Riaz Khan, Riaz's smile is this big. It is filling the screen right now. You have not stopped smiling since we said hello to you at the beginning of this show, Riaz. Inside, what is that? You are a winner. Your team is top of the Premier League. What's that like?
Unbelievable. Brilliant. It's unbelievable. I can't explain how I feel. It's just like I'm still pinching myself. Is it real?
Yeah.
I mean, 132 years, we haven't won anything. Just, okay, League Cup maybe,
yeah.
You know, got close to second once in 1929 or something. But this time, we've won it. Oh, absolutely unbelievable. Ranieri is a legend. What can I say?
Did you cry? Did a grown man cry?
Yeah, I did, because when Bocelli came on stage and he started singing the Nessun Dorma and he sung the other song, I had tears in my eyes. I couldn't control it because the feeling was just, wow. I'm sure the whole stadium were crying.
I know you're not alone there. This is a comment we got from a resident of Leicester. This is Dilsana. She says, I'm in Leicester, and the night they won, people were running around on the streets, banging car horns and waving flags. It was crazy. So we wanted to know what it was like today. She says the whole of London Road in Leicester has photos of the players on it, and the city was blue before their last match. You can see some of the photos here. Proud to be backing the Blues. You see a photo of one of the players here. Di, what is it like today for you? Do you still feel that euphoria you felt last week?
Yeah, I still feel the euphoria. In fact, I still keep looking at the charts when they're showing them on the television and thinking, it's not real, it can't be right. That's not really Leicester City that are top of the league. So, yeah, euphoria. I've got the flags flying at home, big smile on my face all the while, and can't resist wearing shirts and tops that all boast the fact that I support Leicester City.
What are you wearing right now? Are you wearing this season's shirt, this season's model? What's going on?
Yes, I've got this season's model. They actually brought out some new ones this weekend, but I haven't managed to purchase one of those yet. So this is the one they've worn all season.
See, Rob,
there's been queues for 4 hours to buy the tops. 4-hour queues, apparently.
Oh my goodness. See, Rob. I know the Midlands. I used to live in the West Midlands. I know the East Midlands as well. I've been to Leicester. What is it like now? What would I find that's different in Leicester with this win? How are people different?
It's just a fantastic vibe around the place. I mean, it took days for people to stop driving around, bibbing their horns and waving flags. I mean, I followed a pizza delivery guy the other day, and on the back of his bike, alongside the name of the company he was delivering for, was just one little sticker that said Mahrez. Everybody is carrying something to do with Leicester City around with them, and it's just extraordinary to be around.
Yeah, and Mahrez is one of the players, right? Because I know Leicester City from the olden days when I was in the Midlands.
One of their
new
stars.
load of players. Yeah, very good. So if there was like a deep sort of psychological unpacking of this, as an underdog, Riaz, what do you think it has done for a city? Is that are we overplaying what this win has done for a city in the United Kingdom?
No, I mean, everybody's united now. The whole city are united in the ecstasy of winning. You've got women from different backgrounds, men from different backgrounds, kids, the elderly, all united and celebrating at the same time. I mean, I went to Leicester Stadium on Monday night. I saw women with niqabs on and headscarves on with Leicester flags waving and singing Champiori. You know, it was amazing to see people interacting with each other. I've never seen anything like this before in Leicester in its whole history. And I was born in Leicester. So you can imagine the feeling. It's still going now. I mean, everybody's just, you know, everybody's united. I can't explain it. You have to be there to see it.
So Warren, the one word that comes up is the one that Femi mentioned in all the tweets pretty much, and it is underdog. So Aluma on Twitter says, it's true, the underdog was finally the top dog. But looking at that a little bit deeper, I want to give you a video comment that we got sent to the stream from a former stream guest who's also a social psychologist, Sam Summers, and he talks about what that really means. Have a look.
We like the underdog because it's an unexpected payoff. When the underdog wins, it feels a lot more exciting than witnessing the favorites win. We also associate underdog status with being hardworking and hustling and really earning something, and that's appealing to us as sports fans. But it's interesting, at the end of the day, while our hearts go with the underdogs, that's a fleeting affair. The love affair is quick. We tend to bet on the favorites. We tend to buy the jerseys from Barcelona FC and LeBron James and the New York Yankees and Manchester United.
So Warren, not to burst your bubble, but he says this is a fleeting feeling.
He's right. I think let's put this into some context here as far as the Premier League is concerned. Only a handful of teams in the Premier League, in the history of the Premier League, have ever won the Premier League. And as time goes by, with the amount of TV money available to teams in the Premier League, you're talking about well over £3 billion. And that's just for the TV rights in the UK alone. That's before we've even sold the rights to the rest of the world. There was a cartel of 4 or 5 clubs, and only rich sheikhs from the Emirati or rich American tycoons were allowed to actually join that cartel. Yeah. And the whole concept of Leicester, we've been told for years that this doesn't happen. We've been told that teams the size of Leicester, with the wage bill that they have, they don't get anywhere near this cartel at the top of the table. We were told that they can't and they shouldn't and they won't. And Leicester City have broken down all those barriers. And they've given inspiration to every other team, whether they're playing in a small league, whether they're playing in a league below the Premier League. They've allowed every football fan from every team to dream that the miracle could someday happen to them.
This is like an inspirational business sports talk. Let's just unpack some of the team, Rob. Introduce us to some of the team. You report on them regularly. You know them. Tell us about some of the characters, because you are writing a book, so they're going to feature in that. Who should we know? If we can only name 2 or 3, who are the 2 or 3 that you said, okay, great story, love that player?
They've all got fantastic backstories. They've all faced adversity and rejection at some point during their careers, and that's given them a drive and a hunger and a desire. And they've all come together in almost like the planets have aligned at the same time. But there's certain players that you could pick out. Jamie Vardy was rejected as a teenager by his hometown club, Sheffield Wednesday. Actually gave up football for a while, and he was convinced to start playing again by his friends at non-league level at Stocksbridge Park Steels, and he worked his way through the non-league.
These are tiny little teams. I mean, Sheffield Wednesday would be way down there on the leagues, and you kind of laugh a bit when their scores come up.
Well, that's where Stocksbridge Park Steels were way down in the non-league pyramid, and then he moved up to Halifax and then Fleetwood, and eventually Leicester paid £1 million for him, which was a record for a player from non-league. They took a gamble on him, and that gamble's paid off. But there's so many of them. Riyad Mahrez and N'Golo Kante have been outstanding this season. Both of them didn't sign professional contracts till about 19 because they were told they were too small or too skinny to make it as a professional footballer. So all these players have got this desire.
Everybody's wrong here. Why do you think? What is it that then made these? They all seem like underdogs for the team. So what is it, do you think, was the secret sauce that made them winners?
I think it's the hunger that's driven them on to succeed. I mean, so many people get setbacks in their life, and some people quit. None of them have quit. They've carried on, and they've come together, and they share this bond. And ultimately, what they are is a team. I mean, we look at the Premier League, and it's full of superstars, individuals, big money men. But Leicester City have come together as a team. Even the manager, Claudio Ranieri, there was question marks about him when he was appointed, simply because his previous job as the manager of the Greek national team was a disaster. They lost to the Faroe Islands. You know, so when he comes to this job...
I didn't even know they had a football team. Sorry, Faroe Islands.
Exactly.
They obviously
people
really
were
did that
wondering what on earth he had done to deserve another crack at a Premier League team. Wow, has he answered those questions,
Goodness me. I mean, the whole story is amazing, Malika.
So, Riaz, you heard Rob mention a few of the top players on the team. We got a Facebook comment from someone named Rafe who gives us another angle. He says, this has to be the best, most heartwarming story in today's sporting world. But, there's a but there, an inevitable exodus as their top players are lured away by much larger clubs may mean they struggle just to stay up. I know that you tried to convince one player not to go. Tell us that story and what you think of Rafe's comment.
Yeah, well, I kind of agree with him, but Vardy's decided to stay for another 4 years, I believe. He signed a contract. So he's staying.
Yes.
Whereas Mahrez and Kante... Now, Kante, I spoke to him, he speaks French, is his first language, so I had a French friend with me. Now, I was trying to convince him to stay at Leicester, build a career, and he was saying yes and no. He wanted to listen to what Arsenal or Man United had to say. He said, look, I have to listen to what they've got to offer. And I say, no, look, you've got to stay in Leicester because, look, the team is fantastic. We need you at the backbone of Leicester. I think he's the backbone of the Leicester City team, to be honest. Even though they all work well together, but I still think he's the backbone because he works so hard in the midfield. It's unbelievable how he works. I've never seen a player like that in my life.
Riaz, can I just pause you there? Because how did you even have access to him? How are you convincing one of these players not to go? What did that look like?
He goes to the mosque. He goes to the mosque on Friday. So is Riyad Mahrez. I've met him a few times. Well, Riyad, he's a very shy guy.
Nice.
And he's thinking about Spanish football, but then he's not. He's 50-50 at the moment, whether he's going to stay or go.
So it
depends on the offer, what Leicester offer him.
So Riaz, you talked to him at mosque on Friday about footy?
No, I met him Angola in a snooker place, a pool place, because they're local. They're like guys that just like to mix with the locals.
Yeah.
They're not these superstars you get that go around with bodyguards and whatever. They like to mix with the locals.
Rob is probably...
And a lot of people look up to him.
Yeah, Rob's annoyed because you've got more access than he has, and he's the sports broadcaster. Di?
I need to go to the mosque.
Just come to the mosque on Friday.
Go to the mosque, go play pool. Riaz, we'll hook you up.
Go to the wrong places.
Di, what were you going to say? Jump in.
Well, the problem that they may well have, I mean, it's all very well them going to these bigger clubs, but are they going to sit on the bench or are they going to play? We know
I agree.
that if they stay with Leicester, they will play. And
Absolutely.
in Leicester, they've got a chance of playing in the Champions League and actually playing rather than, as Ranieri's put it, carrying the suitcases for the rest of the team.
I think if the contract with these players as well. Stay.
Yeah. Go ahead,
What's interesting with these players as well is that you speak to them privately, you speak to the kind of people, their agents and one or two people around them. Jamie Vardy is the example here. Rob's mentioned his background and where he came from playing non-league football. Leicester City took a chance on him. It doesn't matter how much money they spent. Leicester City took a chance on him, and he feels he owes them a debt of loyalty. As we know, he's just signed a new long-term contract within the last 6 months, and you get the feeling he's one of the main players. He's there to stay. There was talk of possibly West Ham moving into their new Olympic Stadium next season, taking him a 25 to 30 million pound bid, but I just don't get the feeling he'd actually want to get involved in that because he's the main man at Leicester. He's playing well. He's settled in the area. Even Riyad Mahrez as well. There was talk of Barcelona, one or two other teams looking at him. But those two are the two, for me, and I've spoken to Rob about this, who look like they are keen to stay. N'Golo Kante is the one player out of the three players we've mentioned who hasn't said publicly that he wants to stay and be part of Leicester's future.
Well, Riyad Mahrez, I think he wants to stay because his wife's from Leicester. And her family's in Leicester, so he's got an incentive to stay here because of his wife. So that could be one for about a year or so.
Maybe a couple of million might be a bigger incentive. What do you think, Riaz?
Maybe, but it depends on the money, doesn't it? I mean, if the money's right, he'll stay. I mean, it's his agent that makes the decision, not himself. And obviously the agent makes 10%. It'd be hard to turn down
Barcelona, though, Riaz, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
it'd be hard to turn down Barcelona.
Yeah.
I mean,
but he'll be benched.
They're at another level.
I feel like
but
he'll be on the bench, won't he?
I feel like we're recreating one
He wants to play football. They all want, look at Inler. Inler's not playing football. He's upset because he's not playing football.
Oh, I miss talking about football. Gentlemen, hold tight for a second. Hold tight for a second. Let me show you something. This is Rob's Twitter picture profile. Rob, this is you with the manager of Leicester City. What is he like?
Claudio, he's a gentleman, an absolute gentleman. He starts every press conference by walking around the room and shaking every single person's hand. And as you can imagine, as the interest has grown globally in Leicester City this season, our press conferences are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. They're standing room only. It's taken him an hour to get round to shake everybody's hand before he starts the press conference. And the one game he didn't do it was West Ham. And we dropped 2 points, and Jamie Vardy was sent off. So it wasn't the greatest of days. So the next game, next press conference, even though there was even more journalists in the room, he walked in and said, "I've got to shake everybody's hand." So it just goes to show he's got a superstition as well. But he is a real gentleman. But I've described him really as, he's an iron fist in a silk glove. He's on the outside, he's very jovial, very approachable, very warm. He's a genteel guy, but when he wants to get his point across to his players, he makes that point very forcibly. And I know when he was at Chelsea, some of the players said that they were scared of him. I think he's mellowed a little bit with age since he's come to Leicester City, but he's still got a tough side to him too.
I can tell you a story about Ranieri. There's a pub down the road where I live in Oadby. He lives in Oadby, and he walked into this pub where it's a restaurant pub, and everybody stood up and clapped. All the Indian men stood up and clapped, all the Asians. Because that's how popular he is. That's how much Leicester love him. Because he's a people's person. He's not, arrogant. He's not big-headed. He's a people's person. He walks around town. He goes to shops. He interacts with people. He's a people's person. That's why everybody loves him.
Yeah, he stops for selfies all the time, doesn't he, in the city?
Yeah, he does, don't he?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So a number of people said, I bumped into him in Waitrose, or I bumped into him in the street. Or
Waitrose is a supermarket. A little bit
posh.
It's
a supermarket, yeah.
But not as posh as Marks and Spencer's.
Doing his shopping.
Which is another supermarket.
Yes, that's right.
Malika.
For the one resident non-UK person here, thank you for that, Femi.
You're welcome.
Rob, one of the things you mentioned was that diversity has grown, and surrounding the interest in the team. And so that leads me to a conversation some people are having online. Take a look at this tweet. This is from Houghton, who is an Al Jazeera colleague. He's watching today's show. He says, "My wife says the guest list of today's AJ stream sums up Leicester, diversity and united." So that leads me to this tweet, which I'm going to pose as a question to you, Warren. David says, "This will go a long way to building a more diverse fan base. What do you make of the interest in Leicester being such a place of diversity, and then what that will do to fans of Leicester City?
Well,
Absolutely, I totally agree with that. Sorry, go ahead, mate.
When I was
conversations
living in the city all those years ago, it was an extremely diverse city. It's one of the most diverse cities in the UK, and all Premier League fans and all Premier League clubs are looking to actually reach out to the whole of their communities in a pretty organic and a public sort of relations sort of way. And this is the kind of thing that will do it organically. The fact that Leicester City have won the Premier League, it's got a hugely diverse background. I go to press conferences with Rob, and I get taxis from the train station, and you speak to the cab drivers, Asian cab drivers, white cab drivers, black cab drivers. Some of them have no interest in football, but the fact that Leicester are doing so well has captured non-football people's imagination in and around the city as well. And I just think, as was said earlier, it brings a whole community together. There's one common cause. There's one reason to celebrate. Nobody's looking at someone's background or their colour. Or everyone is there to celebrate one common goal and one common achievement, and that's Leicester being the Premier League champions of England.
I also think the team is so multicultural. Sorry, go on.
So I was just saying that after the celebrations, you were there, Riaz, weren't you, on the Saturday? When you look around that crowd, there was a Bhangra group there playing, wasn't there?
Yep.
There was fans singing and dancing with them. There was a choir.
Yeah,
there was a gospel choir.
Yeah.
There was those two youngsters, one white, one black, who released a rap single about
Fearless
cities, and they were performing in the street.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
it was
what
amazing.
It does. It brings everyone together.
Do you know what, fans? This could be the secret to world peace. Do you think?
Sports brings people together.
Possibly.
Absolutely.
Di,
It does.
I mean, you're talking about how Leicester City is getting together, the city and not just the football club, but you've seen people come from all over the world to cover this story. Why do you think they care so much about you? I bet they don't even know how to pronounce Leicester.
That's so. I mean, people always mention us as Leicester or something the same, but I think it's because it is such a novel situation. I mean, in all of the other European countries, quite often it's the same teams that are at the top, and they don't see the lower teams succeeding or in the way that Leicester have. So to actually see what they call a small team actually beating the big teams, I suppose it's the novelty of the situation, and it's something new to them, and they want to find out a bit more about it and how it's done, and see if they can replicate it in their own countries, I suppose.
All right. It's been really...
I think the players play a major part, because when they actually go into the community and mix with the community, it builds love and builds that loyalty. I mean, loads of Asian lads before last season were supporting Manchester United, Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea. Now they jumped the bandwagon. They support Leicester now because of the diverse football players. I mean, you've got an Algerian, you've got Africans, you've got Austrians, you've got Germans.
30 seconds, Riaz and Rob and Warren and Di. This is very unethical. We are going to go to the post show at stream.aljazeera.com, but I would love to hear the clean version of a terrace song for 30 seconds. I can handle that. Go ahead, Di. You start. And Riaz.
I'm trying to think of one.
Ranieri is taking us to Europe, to Europe.
I've not heard that one, to be honest with you.
And that's the way we like it.
We like it. We like it.
Jamie Vardy's
We love it.
These are the voices of Di Stratham, Riaz Khan, Rob Turner and Warren Houghton. We are taking them to the post show, but before we get there, one more important thing from Malika Bilal.
A message we got from the mayor of Leicester, Peter Soulsby. Have a look.
Just 12 months ago, Leicester City Football Club were right at the bottom of the Premier League. Today, they're Premier League champions. As Mayor of Leicester, I want to tell the world just how proud I am of the brilliant leadership of Claudio Ranieri and the amazing team that he has led from nowhere to be national and international heroes.
Hello again, welcome back to the Streams Online post show. We want to get right back to the conversation about Leicester City being, I can't believe I'm saying this, top of the Premier League. What? What is going on?
You can't believe it.
I can't believe it. You can't believe it. It's just so weird.
You can't believe it either.
Wow. Di, so we've got a game coming up. You see, now I'm a Leicester City fan. You have a game coming up. The last one of the season, Chelsea. Okay, let's do some punditry. How are you going to do?
A win.
Okay.
Let's hope we can finish the season off with a win.
All right.
It'll be tough, but we'll go out in glory and let's finish with a win.
Rob, what do you think?
Well, yeah, I agree. I think they could go there and win, but I think the whole day is going to be about the occasion. I mean, it's Ranieri returning to his old stomping ground, Stamford Bridge, where he was sacked in 2004 by Roman Abramovich. Now he's returning as a champion and going to stand before Roman Abramovich on that pitch, having had a guard of honour from Chelsea, who are the departing champions. Yeah. That's what the Sunday's going to be about for me. It's not really going to be about the actual football.
Nice.
That's incidental. It's party day.
You know, Di, you said something a little earlier that made me think of this tweet we just got from Nafizi, and you mentioned some of the other clubs. So Nafizi says, Leicester City's title has rekindled hope for other clubs at the bottom of the EPL table ranking to keep working hard. It makes it sound like it's more than luck. It's hard work, of course, but that doesn't always mean that the odds are in other teams' favors. What do you make of his comment?
Well, I think that's fair comment. I mean, it does give hope because it's always been the case of if you want to win the Premier League, you need big money, big expensive players, and you've got to spend a lot in order to get there. And I think what Leicester City has done has shown, no, you don't have to buy the big star players. You can go and you can search in the lower leagues and purchase players to build, as we said earlier, a team who are prepared to work together, cover each other, back up each other. And if you really do work hard, I mean, you need some skill. There's no doubt about that. You're not going to do it if you haven't got the skill. But they don't have to be top, expensive players. You can build a team from players that have got the skill and are prepared to work together for one goal.
I think what it's also done as well, if I could just jump in, is that for so many years in the Premier League, football fans have been told by Premier League managers that we can only reach a certain level. We can only just have a season where we survive in the Premier League, get to 40 points. They call it the magical 40 points, where you get 40 points, you're safe. Now, managers up and down the country in the Premier League don't have any excuses now. Even now, I know for a fact that there are Premier League clubs, chairman and chief executives who are talking to their managers and saying, hang on a minute, don't sell us any nonsense about getting to 40 points. Don't tell us we just want to finish in the top 10. Look at Leicester. If Leicester can do it, why can't we? And for now, clubs and managers cannot hide behind any excuses now because fans have seen that it can be done.
Let me just, it's a good point to show you this. Have a look here on my laptop. This is a little story about how much the Leicester City squad cost. We just scroll down here. So Leicester City squad, around about 54 million. Tottenham, 161 million. Arsenal, 251 million. And Man City, 418 million. And this is pounds, so we're talking way more in dollars. That is extraordinary, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
But don't forget as well, but sorry, Rob, if I could just jump in there as well.
Yeah.
You look at what Manchester United have spent, and they're struggling to get into the top 5. They've spent way over £250 million in the last 24 months. That just gives you an idea of the money they've spent. Yeah. And they're 17 points behind Leicester. Leicester, let's get this into context as well. Leicester are 10 points clear in the Premier League at the moment. They haven't just won the Premier League, they have walked it. No team has been able to get near them or put a single glove on them. That's the dominance of this so-called underdogs, of this team who struggled last season to stay in the Premier League. That is what they have done. They have destroyed the Premier League and all their opposition this season.
So I mean, this is a guesstimate, but how much do you think this win will be worth to Leicester City? You can see how far behind they are from other powerful, rich clubs. How much do you think this is going to add to their bankroll?
125 million is the estimate for this season alone.
Ooh,
and that's just in terms of prize money.
Yeah.
And obviously in terms of the revenue that they can generate in terms of sponsorships from now on as well, that is going to probably even double. So you're looking at £250,000. This could be worth to Leicester City. They're going to be in the Rich League now. And what it will do now is raise expectation around the club. The fans might not accept, the club record fee at the moment is £8 million, rising to 10 eventually. They might expect Leicester City to go out and break that transfer record repeatedly in the summer, because they will have to recruit, because they've got the Champions League to compete in next season. So the whole club has now got to step up another level.
So since you mentioned next season, Rob, we have a question here, and I'm going to direct it to Di because it's for the Foxes. Ahmed on Twitter says, do you think Leicester will defend its success next year?
Well, I think they'll try. I'm not sure that they will actually be able to win the league again, because I'm sure that some of the other clubs that think that they should win it will actually be looking again and building, and will be looking to try and get to the top. But I'm sure they will make every effort that they can to at least finish up towards the top and once again get into Europe.
Well, they're not going to be short of any fans, Di. It's been really good having you. Riaz has had to pop off. And Warren, thank you for being here on the show as well. Let me just show you something here on my laptop. This is on Rob's Twitter page. When did you start writing this book, Rob? Like 5 minutes ago? What happened?
It was just after Christmas. It was unbelievable, because Leicester City were bottom the previous Christmas, and this Christmas they were top of the league. And I thought, well, if anything, even if it goes pear-shaped from here on in, if everything goes wrong, it's still a season that Leicester City fans would love to have documented, and they will savour and talk about it. I didn't think they would go on and win the title. So I started writing it around January time, February time. And as I've been writing it, the story just got better and better and better. It's almost like after every game, I've got another chapter to write. Nice. And we've ultimately had the fairy tale ending as well. So the interest in the book now has just gone... it's incredible, the amount of people that are talking about it and asking me about it now. And so it's gone from being a book that I intended initially just for a few Leicester fans might be interested in. Now we're getting orders from around the world.
Oh, goodness me.
Have you got a book out, Rob? I didn't know that.
I don't mention it.
No one's ever mentioned the book. There you go.
I'll keep it quiet.
Little bit of British sarcasm. Love that. What's the opening line, Rob? Do you remember? How do you grip the reader?
The first chapter starts with one word: euphoria, because that's what it was like when Leicester City had stayed up. They just completed the greatest of great escapes, winning 7 of the last 9 games. But then it all went terribly wrong in the summer. We lost manager Nigel Pearson. There was a few scandals along the way. Ranieri appointed, and there was a mixed response to that. So we went into the season for odds of 5,000 to 1, because nobody expected them to do this, and they have.
All right. Have you written the end?
No, I'm waiting for the Chelsea game, because I want that Ranieri moment.
All right, okay, very good. All right, we're almost done, but before we're almost done, here's Malika.
Okay, and I couldn't choose between these two last tweets because there is so much euphoria online, so I'm going to read both of them. This is BD Maria, who is writing in all caps. You can tell how he feels. He says, Leicester City played from their heart during the whole season. Another reason why football doesn't need big money. Congratulations from a Real Madrid fan. Big deal there. And then this next one is from Major General, who talks about our guests today. He says, your guests have history with the team, and their smiles say it all. So happy for them.
And we're happy that you're happy on the stream. Di and Riaz and Rob and Warren, thank you so much for being part of our show today. Congratulations, Leicester. Congratulations, Leicester Football Club. I can't really say long may you reign, because I'm an Aston Villa supporter, but I'm really proud of you. Thanks very much, everybody. Take care.